Hey there. Welcome to the Pine Island Experience podcast. I'm Joanna Anderson with my husband, Trygve. Each of our episodes will be conversations with fellow Pine Islanders.
The goal of our podcast is to share with you our experiences, what we have found to be fun, and what makes the Pine Island experience so unique.
So there's a lot of ways to get involved. One of the questions we get asked a lot is, what do you get for your membership? Well, it's not what you get, it's what you can, as far as a gift or something coming back tangible, it's what you get out of it, helping preserve the island. I mean, if you give to your son's baseball team fundraiser, what are you getting personally out of it? You're not getting, you're helping support the team. And that's basically what the membership does. But more than that, what membership means to us is if we go to get a grant, they ask you how many members you have. What's your membership base? They want to know what kind of public interest you have in your organization. If we can show that we have 1,000 people versus 150 people, it shows that people are interested in what we're doing. We get a lot of comments from people, oh, we like what you're doing. Well, that's nice, but that doesn't help us in going forward. So $25 is not a lot of money to be a membership every year. And it does help. It's minimum, but it does help with the cause.
Robert Ballard, Chief Land Steward for the Calusa Land Trust, returned to the podcast to share everything that's happened since our last interview in 2023, from major land acquisitions to preserving the future of Pine Island. Robert also explained something many of us never realized: why a simple $25 membership means so much to the Calusa Land Trust and the work they do for Pine Island. And now, here's Robert. Well, we're fortunate today. We're welcoming back Robert Ballard from the Calusa Land Trust. Thank you for coming back.
Well, thanks for the invite to come back.
Certainly. It was a long time ago. It was season 1 when you were here. And we're in season
2 years ago, something like that.
It's 2023, October 2023. And
3 years now.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah, time flies.
But talking about that, you've been busy.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I thought you were busy back then, but it's just astronomical what you've been doing lately.
Well, I stepped down as president because it was really busy and took on the Chief Land Steward, which now has come even more busy. I do 35 to 40 hours a week on land trust stuff.
In addition to everything else.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your time. For those who didn't catch you on the first visit, can you tell us about Calusa Land Trust? What does it mean to Pine Island? Well,
the Calusa Land Trust actually started in 1976. This is our 50th anniversary this year. It started as a small organization that was trying to protect the Calusa Island from development. And from there, it morphed into trying to protect more of Pine Island itself, natural and historical and ecological reserves to protect what we can. And being a native Pine Islander, it caught my eye when I came back after leaving the area to seek my fortune, and came back in 2000. And I saw the group and saw what they were doing, and went to some of the meetings, and it was not a bunch of snowbirds trying to take over the island. It was a bunch of people who were concerned about preserving what Pine Island was, not what it was becoming. And that caught my attention, and I joined the group. And I've been involved, we've pretty much had protected most of the mangroves around Pine Island, which was the initial push, was to protect the mangroves from development. Since I've been involved with them, we've been more focused on uplands, pines and palmettos, natural preserves, Pine Island. And that's what we've been focusing on, as long as also some historical sites. One of the pieces of property we have is only a couple of 3 building lots off Harbor Drive, but through those building lots was the old original Calusa Canal remnants through that. So from a historical standpoint, it's very critical to protect that. From the land trust standpoint, what it means to Pine Island is we're trying to protect some of the natural parts of Pine Island or the historical parts of Pine Island including the Chipley property we just purchased, which has been in that family for 110 years.
Well, I'm glad you said that. We wanted to ask you about that next. Congratulations on that. I went up to the Bokeelia post office so I could find it, and it was right there across the street, and I saw the chicken on the poster that you told me about, and I crossed the street and walked into it. I know it's not ready yet, but I didn't think you'd mind.
No.
So I started walking around, and I saw how much was cleared and how big it is. It doesn't look that big from the street.
Right.
I started walking in there. I'm like, this is huge.
Yeah, it says 5.7 acres is what it is right now. And it was 5.4 acres, which what we got from the Chipley family, but there was a third of an acre triangle piece along Stringfellow that was owned by the Mosher family. And we was able to purchase that, which squared off the corner and made it go all the way to Stringfellow Road. But yeah, the critical part of that property was that, again, it was settled by the Chipley family in 15 to 16, and was one of the original settlements on Bokeelia. Bokeelia didn't start until 1904. I knew the original settlers, Mrs. Chipley. I didn't know her husband. He died in 1935. I knew Mrs. Chipley. She was a longtime postmaster of Bokeelia for 12 years. I knew her son, who grew up on Bokeelia and went to service and went to work for Burgess Battery Company, which is Burgess Island, and had a distinguished career there with 23 patents I think he had while he was there. Came back to Bokeelia in 1952, 53 with his family. I grew up with his kids. They were my age and who we bought the property from. But the critical thing about this family is that, number one, they were first settlers to Bokeelia, but he had a distinguished career with 23 patents, but he also became the founding member of the Pine Island Civic Association. He was initial part of the mosquito control, became the executive director of the mosquito control, and he started the chicken farm there and it became one of the biggest chicken farms in Lee County in the 50s. He was doing 250 dozen eggs a week with 1,500 chickens. So it was quite an operation. And being an engineer that he also improved some of the processing of chickens back then and raising eggs, chickens for eggs and stuff. So he was an innovative person. And that history, to me, as a Pine Islander, was worth saving.
Sounds like it. And that was my other question. What does this land mean, historically? And you said it.
Yes. Back when it was an operation back in the 50s, it was a beautiful entry into it with royal palm entry into the house and stuff. And he had a lot of exotic plants he planted in there. He was interested in that. He visited Edison home and brought back a lot of plants and stuff, which are now gone. A lot of people took them out and stuff. I would like to see it return back into a nice looking place again, which is what we're working on. We got rid of the down hurricane trees and stuff and covered some of that stuff, open it up again. And we're going to be meeting with Corkscrew Natural Nursery it is, and do some consulting with them about what to plant in there and create a kind of a garden walk, so to speak, through it. And make it a nice walk in there. I just laid out a trail yesterday for it, the walk through it.
You never stop, do you?
Yeah, doesn't seem like that.
So with these acquisitions, and those get very public and people can tour them, give us a little view as to what goes behind the scenes from like concept into the reality of acquiring the property.
Okay, well, what happened with the Chipley property in particular, Bob Chipley was one of the grandsons that I grew up with. He's a few years younger than me. He was down here on the property, met him, and we kind of reconnected. And I asked him what they were plans for the property was, and he didn't really have a plan. Didn't want to get rid of it, but on the other hand, they didn't want to see it be developed. And I asked him if he was interested, family be interested into being purchased by the land trust or donating it to the land trust. Well, there's him and his sister, and his brother had died and went to his wife, and then she died and went to her children, which was not part of the family, but it was in a trust. And they did not want to donate it. They wanted money for. So we worked out a deal to pursue it with them. And the way the process works is that we as a land trust cannot make an offer on a property value. Property owners have to come up with a particular value. Then we can negotiate a price. And so that's what we did. They sought advice and got an appraisal. We didn't think the appraisal was right. We then went out and got a professional appraisal and took that number to them, and they agreed to the price, and we were able to negotiate a purchase. And then it was all the dot the I's, cross the T's, get rid of, clear up the deeds and that stuff. And that took a while. It took about a year and a half to get it purchased.
That doesn't sound bad. I mean, it's hard on you, but that sounds incredibly bad.
The hard one is the property across from the Winn-Dixie, the 58 acres there. I've been working on that property with the owners for 8 years. Now we're on the final stages of that. Finally agreed on the price, and now they're just trying to clear up language in the contract. That, again, was not Calusa Land Trust buying it. It's 2020, but we helped them go through the 2020 process to purchase it.
If you look back from like when you first got involved until today, what surprised you about how the land trust has evolved?
Interesting enough, when I joined the land trust, the membership list was like 2,000 people. When I became president, I looked at it and I said, we were getting a lot of returns from our mailings and stuff. And I says, are these 2,000 people really 2,000 members? So one of the first things we did was got into this management program called Donor Perfect, where you can input your members and keep track of donations and stuff. And we started sending out letters and found out that out of that 2,000 members that we've been mailing to all the time, we really only had like 190 members. A lot of them passed or didn't donate anymore. And so we cleaned that up, that database up basically. This year we got a membership drive going on. We'd like to bring that back up to at least 1,000 people if we could. Mm-hmm. The island has got about 8,500 residents, full-time residents, and 1,000 people out of 8,500 doesn't sound like an unreasonable number to be membership. And it's critical that we have that membership.
People, now that we're talking about the land trust, how do people get involved? You just talked about membership, but are there things beyond simply becoming a member and paying the dues? Sure.
We have a monthly, we call work fun party that Joanna is involved in, and she knows it's a lot of work and a lot of fun. It's a 3-hour stint on the second Saturday of every month, not every month, but from October to May at one of our preserves, where we go in and we clean up debris or invasive trees and open up trails and just do some maintenance and stuff. And that 3 hours, we get a lot of work done. We usually have 20 to 30 people at those work events, and that's a big help. But other opportunities is we have sometimes fundraising events, and people volunteer to help do that. But we also look for people with expertise that can help us do things like advertising or stuff like that. I've been doing most of the advertising of brochures and stuff because of my past background. But anybody that has expertise in that, people that would like to write articles and stuff, great. We have a couple of people that's helping us with drone service. They have capabilities of drones, and they're mapping our preserves with drones and stuff. So there's a lot of ways to get involved. One of the questions that we get asked a lot is, what do you get for your membership? Well, it's not what you get, it's what you can, as far as a gift or something coming back tangible, it's what you get out of it, helping preserve the island. I mean, if you give to your son's baseball team fundraiser, what are you getting personally out of it? You're helping support the team. And that's basically what the membership does. But more than that, what membership means to us is if we go to get a grant, they ask you how many members you have. What's your membership base? They want to know what kind of public interest you have in your organization. If we can show that we have 1,000 people versus 150 people, It shows that people are interested in what we're doing. We get a lot of comments from people, oh, we like what you're doing. Well, that's nice, but that doesn't help us in going forward. So $25 is not a lot of money to be a membership every year. And it does help. It's minimum, but it does help with the cause.
And can you describe the Repine Pine Island effort?
Yeah. After Hurricane Ian, we saw the damage of the trees around here, and I got approached by several of the organizations about what we could do to recover from damage to the pine trees and stuff here. So we came up with this idea that we could go to one of the native nurseries in northern part of Florida and get pines and replant some of the pines. And we did that about 3 years ago. We planted over 100 pines in one of our preserves, and unfortunately, and they're in the grass stage. They're very small. They didn't survive. We had a very poor survival rate. Greater Pine Island Civic Association jumped on board and did the same thing, and we helped them with that. Didn't turn out to be it got a lot of plants, but I don't think as far as the actual survival rate was really that great. We did it again this past year, and the survival rate this year is a lot better than what it was before. If you look across the street here, over by Gold Island here, there's a lot of dead pines in there. But if you look, there's a lot of young ones coming up from seeds. So the natural repining is happening. As much as we don't like to see the dead stuff standing up out there, a lot of young stuff is coming up underneath it. So it is repopulating itself. So that's the good news. So our efforts to repine has not been as successful as we like, but it is an effort to try to do it.
Some are making it.
Yeah. Some are, and we have, out of the initial 100 we planted up at the Wagner Barren, I think we have 2 that survived that whole thing, but they are surviving.
What people don't know, if they haven't been to a work fun party, it really is fun.
Yeah.
There's something like 25 to 30 people with you, and it's hysterical. Yeah. People, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, they are fun. Your group is fun. So I encourage people, if they see one on, I know it's advertised on the Calusa Land Trust Facebook page.
Yes.
They see that, just try it once.
Yeah.
You'll have such a good time. It's hard work.
It's hard work. And, anybody listening to this that have younger children, teenagers, probably anybody from 7 to a little older, it's a good time to come in and get the kids involved in something like this and learn about taking care of the island, because they are going to be the ones taking care of this island in a few years. Some of us are getting too old to do this anymore.
Well, you just celebrated 50 years. That's amazing. What did that milestone really mean to you?
Well, it meant to me that, a lot of organizations pop up and disappear. This organization has stayed here and continuing to grow and get bigger. When I talked to some of the earlier members, they talked about struggling to try to raise money to buy their first properties that they bought, which was Big Jim Creek, getting a loan for it and stuff. Now we're in a situation with donations and gifts and stuff that we don't have a lot of money. We're not a animal captivity organization, but we don't have any paid staff or volunteers, but we're still going, and people really recognize us as a unique group of volunteers that are still trying to preserve this island, and that means a lot to me as a native Pine Islander.
I noticed even Earth Day celebrated the CLT. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we try to do that. A few years ago we had coastal cleanup. Lee County had a coastal cleanup, and we volunteered to be a host for Pine Island to do that. We work with a group. There's an organization over in the coast, Palm Beach, called MANG, M-A-N-G, where they do all kinds of ecological T-shirts and stuff, but their logo is buy one, plant one. And they have a big red mangrove nursery over there. They come over here and they planted mangroves over here, and we help with that. Now we're working with them to create a nursery up here by the Episcopal Church for growing mangroves on this coast. and we helped potted almost 10,000 red mangrove, and the nursery started there, which will be planted here on the island or around the area. So we work with them. Yeah, we work with other organizations. We're not just a standalone out here. We work with 2020. We work with the San Animal Captiva group. We worked with the Big Waters Foundation. Just changed the name to Big Waters, which owns a property across from Flamingo Bay. We worked with them. We're not a standalone. We work with other people. Again, we say our resources are small compared to these other organizations, but we do what we can with what we have.
Now tell everybody about Plunk a Plank. It's a mouthful.
Yes.
Plunk a Plank.
Plunk a
right
Plank.
Over here.
Yeah, that was started a few years ago. I'm not sure exactly who it was that started it, but John Kendall has taken that over. And what people can do is they can donate $100 to have a plank routed with family name or memory or something, and we'll put it up in one of our tiki huts or someplace so that they can be remembered. If anybody had gone down to the St. Jude Trail at the end a few years before the Hurricane Ian, that whole dock area was planks with people's names on it. Most of them got washed away. We've since rebuilt the dock. Probably not replaced the planks there with engravement, but we'll do that and put them someplace else.
And I saw this thermometer. Tell us about that up by...
Okay. Well, thanks to my grandson who was down on vacation last week. We've finally got that up. But that is our membership drive thermometer, where we're trying to track where people can see how we're doing on our membership drive. Right now, we're about not quite 400 people. I just got one last night. I did a presentation to the Greater Pine Island Civic Association on the Land Trust. And one of the native ladies here on the island gave me a check for her and her husband to join the group. So we're constantly improving that number. But yeah, our goal is to get, if we can get 1,000 people this year, that would be great.
Well, you're almost halfway there.
We're almost halfway there, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I would like to see us, if we get 500 by July, that would be great. Yeah.
As you look ahead now, what's giving you the biggest hope for Pine Island?
Well, the biggest hope is right now we can continue to manage our growth better than what we potentially could do. You know, as I say, the Land Trust, our goal is not to stop development or get in the way of development, but protect what we have, because we have a lot of building lots on this island already without clearing pines and palmettos to create new ones. There's existing lots available for that now. So we could easily add, probably 8,000 homes in his island without touching any of the natural pines here. And the good news is, so far, the county with the 2020 has never denied any land purchase on Pine Island by the 2020 group. That's the good news. Now, will that stay? I don't know, because the more land we take out of potential tax roll reduces that burden. So that's to me is one of the biggest hopes, is we can keep this as it is, manage the growth. Of course, we can see we already got some big developments going on, one down the street here, one behind the Publix. There's more planned. Chipley property, they planned 35 rental houses between it and Captain's Harbor. Fortunately, we were able to save our piece of it, but potentially that could go in there. We need to manage. I'm a real strong believer in managing growth, not stopping it, but managing better. Make sure you got the infrastructure to do it. We can all look at Cape Coral and see the problems they have. I grew up on part of that land. I spent 9 years on the ranch there where the Publix is, and it was 11,000 acre ranch, and now that's just a tiny piece of northwest Cape Coral. And they had no plans for infrastructure, and they're facing the burden now.
You touched on this a little bit, but what would you say to somebody who's yet to get involved?
I would say check us out. Check out our preserves, see what we're doing. We're not in trying to make parks. We're in to try to make natural preserves accessible to people to be able to go and walk and enjoy Pine Island as it was, and get involved. Get involved. It's easy to do that. People who get involved certainly enjoy it, I think, and we need your involvement.
Anything that you wanted to bring up today that we have not yet asked?
Well, the only thing I would say is, again, I'll reiterate: get involved. We need residents to be involved. Most of our membership, or let's say 50% of our membership, are snowbirds. People talk about snowbirds, but snowbirds are 50%, and people join from out of state that just have connections here. Join, and people who don't have family and are getting elderly and trying to figure out what to do with their money, we're a good place to make that contribution to help us manage what we got. It's costing us about $180,000 a year right now just to maintain what we have. And that's going to get bigger as we get more. So we're fortunately investing the cash that we have in different things to generate money to keep building our thing versus having to do fundraisers and stuff. So that's a big thing. I just urge people to join and be involved.
How best do people learn about the Land Trust?
You can go onto our website, calusalandtrust.org. It gives you a good description of it. There's several podcasts or videos and stuff about the Land Trust. You can go and YouTube and learn what we're doing. Best thing is visit our preserves and see what we're doing.
There's nice maps on there. They're broken into 3 now, the north, middle, and southern.
Correct.
And it shows where all of them are.
Right.
There's a lot. I don't think people realize how many.
Yes. And it not only shows what the Calusa Land Trust has, but what 2020 has, what the state has, and what Big Waters has. So it's all the preserves on the Pine Island is on that map that Nancy Cousy done.
Yeah,
and it's really
did a great
nice.
job.
Yeah.
And how do they find out about the work fund parties that you talked about?
Work fund parties are advertised in Eagle. We do a thing a week before. It's advertised on our website. It's advertised on our Facebook page. And then if you become a volunteer, go to one of our work parties, I get your name and you become my mailing list. So I have about 80-some people on my mailing list that I also send out to volunteers. So there's like 4 ways that you would find out about it.
Yeah, the mailing list is a nice reminder. Thank you for
It
doing
is,
that.
yeah.
And then does the website talk about how to apply to be a member and how to donate?
Yes, you can actually go to the website and join right online. And you can do it with a credit card, which goes directly into our account, which is a nice thing. Or you can get one of the members, and we'll give you a little piece of paper that membership form to fill out, and then donation, and we'll add you to the list. Yeah.
This is wonderful. I'm so glad you came back. I know we haven't talked about everything that you've done, but it's incredible. If they went onto the Facebook page and just went through it, you'll be amazed at everything
Yes.
you have in there. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for the invite back.
Certainly.
We hope you enjoyed our Pine Island Experience podcast. If you have any ideas for us, people to interview, or any comments, please feel free to email them to us at pineislandexperience@gmail.com. That's pineislandexperience, all one word, @gmail.com. Don't forget to like us, and you may subscribe to this podcast using all the major catchers like Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Thanks again for listening, and remember, island life is a constant vacation. We'll see you on the next podcast.